So just kind of like a feeling instead of being like very academic, you know, because there are lots of academic books out there. You can get academic books.
So what, for example, do you want?
So I guess, like, how did you guys arrive here? Like, in Mexico City?
Well, I was born here. My grandparents came from Ukraine and from Minsk,
Belarus.
And she,
I was born in Honduras, and my father's from Cuba, my mother was from Peru, my father's family from Turkey, my mother's family from Russia, Romania as well. So
we met here.
we met here on a blind date, actually. And we've been living here. Well, I've been living here 37 years already. I was born here.
And how, like, so you guys belong to a conservative?
For the last 10 years, yes. Before that, we used to belong to an Orthodox synagogue in Polanco area. My father was one of the builders of that synagogue.
Founders.
And you could see his name everywhere in the synagogue. But we prefer the conservative
Movement.
Being Jewish. So after my father died, we moved to a conservative synagogue.
And like, how do you describe kind of, I guess you're from Honduras, so your Jewish kind of background is very different from the one that you kind of experience here.
Oh, it was practically non-existent. It was all homemade. My father had to teach my brother the bar mitzvah from records and books that somebody sent to him from Israel and from the States. And we would get the minyan together in a woman's house who had an Arona Kodesh and had the Sefer Torah inside, and very homemade. We would have a community seders. Community means 100 people maybe. But they were very conscientious of our roots. My father was very strict of, you can go out on Friday night after you have Shabbat. That kind of, there were nobody to date, no Jewish youngsters. We were very few, but so we went to camps in different areas in Central America where we would meet other young people like us from Guatemala, Salvador, Nicaragua.
So what's it like for you now that you're in Mexico City with such...
When I first arrived, it was like I'm in paradise because, you know, so much to choose from, so many Jewish opportunities. It was amazing. It was going from... My father was so happy that he had finally been able to live in a country. He passed away here, but so happy that we could bring our children up in a Jewish environment. And that has been very enriching for us, our Jewish identity. Jewish schools, Jewish community.
Have you guys been to Israel?
Yes.
And how do you feel like being there compared to here?
Well, we loved Israel. I don't know if we would be able to live there, but we admire Israel, we love Israel, definitely. My grandfather was the first Ashkenazi rabbi here in Mexico. So...
At the synagogue, or...?
No, it was not in this synagogue. He lived around here. He would come here to pray.
Not this synagogue.
Not this synagogue. And then they moved to Condesa, and then he would go to one synagogue in Amsterdam Street.
And so you kind of grew up all around here. You kind of feel like...
in Polanco.
Right.
This was not my neighborhood. My parents, actually, we do have a store a few blocks from here.
To this day.
Today, and in the first level of the building, that's where my parents got married, and that's where they would live at the beginning. My sisters were born in this area, not me.
So you grew up with the whole tradition, a very Orthodox tradition,
Yes.
and you've kind of moved away from it.
Well, we liked it more on the conservative.
Yeah.
We're very involved in them, especially Marcos. Yes. Very involved in writing and...
Yeah, I am the head of the adult education committee.
How do you guys feel like how your Jewish kind of heritage mixes with your Mexican or your Latin heritage? Like...
It blends in very well. For me, one does not mean either or. It is what makes us and our children. Our children are very aware that they're Mexican Jews, or Jews who are Mexican. It just goes together. Naturally. I don't know how to
Yeah.
say it.
So So you pretty much feel, because like Israel is kind of like the spiritual home, but this is like the home, right?
This is our home.
You are Mexican Jews, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I've come to the conclusion that Judaism basically is a social thing. You know who Baruch Spinoza was?
No.
A great thinker that was expelled from the Jewish people because he has very, very liberal ideas.
You're talking what century? 17th century?
15th,
15th
or
century.
16th century. He said that a man is a social
B.
being, a
Right.
social animal.
Right.
So you cannot practice Judaism alone.
Right.
You need to be in a society. You need a social group. So for us to practice our Judaism requires our Jewish group. Okay, and that's here. It's not in Israel. There is a wonderful book by a professor from Brown University about the future of Judaism.
My son went there.
And he says that you ask any survivor, probably he had a wonderful interview with a survivor of the Holocaust that went back to his town. And when he went to this town and says, oh, there is nothing Jewish here. What was the meaning? There was not a social group there.
Right.
So if you really analyze the religious Jews or the most secular Jews, they all practice their Judaism according to the group where they want to belong.
Right.
And we want to belong to the group that makes the conservative.
Mexican conservative.
Yes.
That's who we are.
Okay?
And can I get your guys' names for?
Sure. Marcos Jojman and
Karen.
There you go.
Jojman, G-O-J-M.
Great. Thanks so much, guys.
Nice meeting you. Thank you.